All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's 2 o'clock. Let's start the March 21st meeting of our Public Safety and Justice Committee. Ask you all to take a seat and phones on silent or vibrate. I've got, Madam Clerk, are these are speaker cards for today, for this meeting, or is this the prior meeting? Clean, I think this is the prior meeting. Wait, this is public comment. Scott, Susan, are you here? They are. Are these comment cards for this meeting, or is this for a prior meeting? For this meeting. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Excuse me one second. Public, this is 2, this is 2, this is 4, public comment. Okay. I think we're good. Thank you. And to help our clerk out and expedite things, why don't we start, Doctor, with you, and we'll do the equivalent of roll call and introductions. Oops, we need to get your microphone on.
Talk loudly. We did this last time, didn't we?
Okay.
Good afternoon, Dr. Jordan, Medical Examiner, Coroner's Office.
Jeff Rosen, District Attorney.
Kathy Martinez, Deputy Chief, in for Chief Garnett.
Thank you.
Carl Newsel, Department of Correction.
Good afternoon, Molly O'Neill, Public Defender's Office.
Lori Smith, Sheriff's Office.
Aaron Johnson, Pretrial Services.
Thank you. Mike Wasserman, District 1 Supervisor.
Ken Yeager, District 4 Supervisor.
Miguel Marquez, Chief Operating Officer.
Wendy Botha, Assistant County Counsel.
Gary Hersig, Deputy County Executive.
Sylvia Perez McDonald, IDEO Director.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Item 2 is public comment, where anyone can speak about anything not on today's agenda. We ask that you fill out a card, which I believe are in the back, and you drop them off. Oh, they're up here in the front, then drop them off in the plastic container. And I've got cards from Susan Bassey and Scott Largent under item number 2, public comment. If you'll each please come up here, you'll have up to 3 minutes to speak on any item not on today's agenda. Oh, excuse me. I've also got a card from Steve Eckert. There you are, Steve, for also item number 2. Oop, and Christina Yee. All right, we'll go in that order. You can come up in whatever order you get there first. Fire away, Scott.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everybody. Scott Largent. Today's meeting, I was looking forward to talking more about the video footage from our courthouse. I was looking forward to talking about how that policy, how there's that gray area between our sheriff's department policy, our county drafted policy. 13 months that footage is supposed to be kept before it's destroyed. If an internal affairs investigation is open, then that evidence is preserved. It's a different story at our courthouse right now. They destroy things in 2 weeks. So I'm not very happy with that. And I felt that this would have been the good opportunity. Most everybody from each department has made it here today. And if the head of the department is not able to make it, then they send whoever's second in charge. You guys are pretty good about doing that. And what happened today? Our presiding judge is not here. She is normally late to these meetings. Now, I'm sure she has a county sticker for parking. I'm sure she can park right where all the judges park, right next to the Santa Clara County Courthouse. I think it's important for her to be here to hear the complaints and criticism from the public. How is that possible that data is being destroyed at our new courthouse? That new surveillance system has the capabilities of holding hundreds of years worth of video footage and audio. How would it be destroyed in 2 weeks? I do not agree with that. For Susan's trial that's coming up right now, that was explained in the discovery information, and pretty much, it's just, hey, the stuff doesn't exist, it's not here. Victorious Alexander is going through the same thing right now. He's been assigned, I believe his name's Sharkey, and he's been assigned through the IDO. So Victorious has been trying to request, Sylvia Perez, he's been trying to request sculpatory evidence that he's being denied. It's almost a funny thing when we go over to Sharkey's office next door to the new family courthouse, because we're laughing and joking in there and we say, hey, we want the video footage. Why would the DA's office just have supplied stills? They're just stilled images. And why would we not want to provide all the footage for him? So he has his correct, right day in court. There's 56 cameras out there. They would have showed him leave from the actual jail. It would have showed him walking down the road. They will not request that information. He already went through them running the probation violation first, and then they dropped the underlying charges for what happened in here. So that's already going through now, the appellate process on that, because we're fighting to get him back in here. We're fighting for his First Amendment right. We're fighting for Susan's First Amendment right, and we're also fighting for mine. You guys are not playing fair, and you guys really aren't playing fair over there at the DA's office. We're not a gang. We're civil society activists that are speaking up for our community, and Jeff Rosen, you're dragging us through the mud. You need to wake up, bud. This is unacceptable. And Victoria shouldn't have to go through what he's going through right now, and same with Susan.
Thank you,
And
Scott.
my malicious prosecution
Scott, your
over a
time's up.
megaphone that I
You know
couldn't
the
get
rules.
a permit for was
Scott.
unacceptable also.
Thank you.
The community's not happy.
Ms. Bassi.
Thank you. Scott Largent may be an example that chivalry is not dead in our society. I was hoping, too, that Patricia Lucas would be here today. When Patricia Lucas decided to give up her job where she was making almost $800,000 a year as an attorney, she commented that she had enough money to put her boys through school. She sounds like she's a divorced mom, and we sounded like we were in a similar situation, and she wanted to make a difference. And she took the job and ultimately is responsible for building our new family courthouse and soliciting private funds for that courthouse and operating that courthouse today that is supposed to give more access to justice to people. I've lived in this community my whole life, and most of my life, and my children have been raised in this community. And in the schools where my children attended school, we taught them that they should be obeying laws and obeying rules. And this morning, my son texted me from the Midwest, and he said, "Mom, I just saw a middle-aged woman get hit by a car, and it rattled me." And I responded to him to be safe and not jaywalk and not do things, and I promised him that I wouldn't jaywalk. But what was interesting is all the things that we teach our children about safety that you guys are all charged to address in our community, we're missing the biggest part, and that's what's going on in our family courts. And Sheriff Smith, you're aware that one of your deputies broke my hand while I was experiencing Scott Largent being retaliated against and excessive force like I've never experienced in my life. Last night I went home and watched your documentary where you talked about all the things related to Audrey and Larry Pott and how this has been pitched in what we call access journalism. There's a narrative where we're describing what happened to Audrey Pott, but you're leaving out part of that story. And that's the story about the domestic violence that you knew was documented, and Jeff Rosen, you knew was documented between the Potts before they ever landed in a situation of dealing with Audrey's death. You completely have forgotten what these kids are dealing with at home, the violence that's going on in home. And I'm being retaliated against because I'm investigating it. I'm investigating the hundreds of people who have come to me about their court transcripts being altered in legal hearings in our county. I have sent numerous complaints to the district attorney's office dating back to 2014 where John Chase, who is in charge of our public integrity, simply blew me off, as every other DA has blown off people making false claims about domestic violence, which you know to have existed related to Clyde Berg's case. And Sheriff Smith, you did the right thing in that. But we're not doing the right thing most of the time, and you and Jeff Rosen don't have your act together. You're advancing your political careers, and you're harming the people in this county, and you need to stop. We're going to keep investigating. You can keep arresting me for doing it, but I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm going to keep speaking up for the people who can't.